Hello everybody. So today we were out on the Yamaha Niken. Now I know some people refer to this as a Niken, but it's actually Niken. It's made of two Japanese words, ni meaning two, and ken meaning sword. That refers to the two front wheels, and also a little bit refers to Yamaha's, or one of their unique selling points for this bike, which is that it's very good at carving its way through corners, obviously due to the fact that it's got two wheels, therefore extra grip. So I think obviously we'll gloss over the fact that this is a very controversial bike, because I know it's going to divide a lot of opinions. Some of you will hate it, some of you will love it, but as you know, I love oddball bikes, and I certainly love anything where they're trying out new things, so to me I quite enjoy this. So we'll glaze over that and start with the styling. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the Yamaha range, this bike won't be entirely unfamiliar to you, because if you ignore the flared out front and just look at the headlights, you'll notice they are very MT09-ish. And certainly as we start going around the back of the bike to the more traditional motorcycle sections, it is an MT09. I mean, there are some slight differences, like minute differences here and there, but for the most part it is exactly the same. Certainly the engine is the same 847cc 3-cylinder crossplane straight out of the MT09. It does have a heavier crank, and it does have a slightly different fueling on this, the Niken. But apart from that, it's identical. Same exhaust, same everything else. And yeah, I mean, I love the styling. I like how it kind of goes from sort of quite wide and flowing at the front and just gets sharper and sharper as you go towards the back, because you'll see, I mean, if we just go back around the front here, so it's quite sharp in the middle, but for the most part quite sort of rounded at the sides, and then we sort of get this nice flow down, and then once we get to the back it just turns into the sharpest thing in the world. I mean, that's a really sharp rear light there, which is quite nice. So yeah, what else have we got? Standard chain drive, same as the MT09. As I say, it is basically an MT09 with two wheels at the front, but it's not the same class of bike. So the MT09 is a naked sort of street bike type thing, whereas this is actually meant to be more of a tourer. So yeah, right, let's get on to these front wheels then. So what they've done here, obviously, is chucked two wheels on, the same as Piaggio did with the MP3 scooter. The only thing is the MP3, the wheels are further apart, so it actually classes as a trike. You can ride it on a car licence. This you most certainly can't. The wheels are actually slightly closer together. They operate in a slightly different way. It acts, feels and works exactly like a motorcycle. So it's certainly not a bike that you just jump on having owned a car and never driven a bike in your life. It's meant for bikers. It's a very clever system how it works. Unfortunately, I don't fully understand it, but basically what it does is the handlebars aren't connected directly to the forks. They're connected through a whole series of different mechanisms that allow it to move in the way it does. Obviously, as you lean, you can kind of see where it's sitting now. You can see how it works. It's kind of like a skier's legs when they're going round corners. As you lean, one wheel sort of stretches out, the other one comes in. Yeah, it's all very, very clever. Obviously, we've got two sets of so 4 forks on this. Now, from what I understand, both of these aren't active on each side. I think only one side has... Yeah, actually you can see this. So you can see the suspension adjuster here. Only the rear ones actually have the springs and bits like that, and then the front ones just have oil. Because I think... I don't know why they've done it that way, but yeah, basically only the back suspension strut is actually an active one on both sides. Brakes, it's only got one brake on each wheel, because on a traditional motorcycle you'd have a single wheel and then you'd have a brake on each side. They obviously, where you've got two wheels here, they've just put one on each, because I think 4 discs at the front would be a little bit excessive. Yeah, is there anything else that I want to go through before we go for a ride? I should mention this is the GT model, so it does come with a slightly taller screen, heated handlebars. I believe the seat is slightly more comfortable on the GT model. This is a gel seat. I don't know if it's the same on the standard Niken. And you also get the touring pack, so you get these kind of semi-hard, semi-soft panniers as well. So yeah, I mean, that's the basic bike. As I say, some people will absolutely hate it, some people will like it. But yeah, no, I do quite like it. So let's get on this thing and see what she's capable of. Now I'm expecting, obviously being the same Nion 900cc engine they stick in pretty much every other bike in their range, it's going to be quite responsive, it's going to be quite nice. But we'll see once we get out on the road. Just very, very quickly, I'll go through the electronics. It's pretty standard, to be honest. It has got a sports mode. It's got 3 different modes you can flick through. It's got cruise control. As I said earlier, that is very much a... Actually, no. No, I was going to say that it's specific to the GT model, but it isn't. It's the heated handlebars that are specific to the GT model. You do get cruise control on the standard model as well. And because it's obviously a Tourer, we've got a power outlet up here, and also, I believe, yeah, there's a little power outlet down here as well. So you've got 2 power outlets. Cruise control, but apart from that, it's quite a basic bike, really. You don't get a massive amount with regards to, you know, you don't get a heated seat or anything. Yeah, it's fairly simple, but that's no bad thing. Right, let's get going because I'm getting very hot out here. Just quickly before we do get out on the road, I will say, sitting on the bike, it does have a very comfortable seat, but I will also say that it is very heavy at the front. Obviously, because it's got this unique steering system, there's a lot of extra weight up high, and you really do feel that when you're at a standstill. Because this bike, it doesn't have, so the Piaggio MP3, it has like a stability thing. When you're going slowly, or when you come to a stop, it locks in the upright position. This doesn't do that. You do have to put your foot down when you come to a stop, and you do have to balance it. And especially at low speeds and when you're sort of stop-starting through traffic, it can become a little bit tiring, because it is very, very heavy. However, it's not unreasonably so. I mean, it's rideable. I would just say that if you were going to ride one of these bikes on a daily basis, you probably wouldn't want to spend too much time going through town. It's not really designed for that. Just trying to think, is there anything else before we go? I do have quite long legs. My legs are about 34 inches long, and I do find that when I put my foot down, it's a bit of a stretch, which I find quite weird because, you know, I'm sort of average bordering on tall in height, and for it to be a bit of a stretch and almost a little bit uncomfortable to put my leg down coming to a stop is a bit weird, and it does again make it a bit more difficult for me personally anyway, riding this bike around town. But hey-ho, let's get out of it. Okay, so my camera did just run out of battery, so I will have to start this little bit again. So, yeah, once you actually get going on this bike, it doesn't feel any different to any other bike, really. Once you get up to speed, anyway. When you're going slowly, as I said before, it does suffer from that extra top-end weight. You really do feel it going through town and stuff like that. But once you get going, once you pick up speed, it's... well, as I say, it's no different to riding any other bike. You do feel more confident on it though. You can feel that extra sort of stability at the front, and that does install a little bit of extra confidence when it comes to taking in the corners and everything else. But yeah, no, so when you see, this is the thing, when you come to a stop, it's just a little bit awkward. But once you're going, it's fine. That kind of makes me very conflicted about this bike, because I really enjoy it when it's going, but I find it a bit of a pain in the arse when I come to a stop, because it's like I stretch my leg down and then it's all that top end weight that you're balancing. It's just a bit annoying. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to riding, it's lovely. It's really comfortable. It handles quite nicely. I will say you do notice it's not quite as fast reacting and nimble as a normal motorcycle. Because of those front wheels, you can't flick it around quite as fast. But then this bike is designed for touring, and it's designed for carving its way through long sweeping corners. It's not really designed for doing a kind of gymkhana type thing, so I guess you can kind of forgive it for that. Now, with regards to performance, I was kind of a little bit worried that the extra weight of this bike would affect it quite a bit. But to be perfectly honest, it doesn't. I mean, this it is installed with a quick shifter. Works on upshifts, not downshifts, but it flies, absolutely flies. We'll take it, hang on a minute, just negotiate this roundabout and then we'll take it for a quick blast and just show you what the acceleration's like, because it really is not bad. Right, what are we at now? So 30 miles an hour. Hang on, let's just... Yeah, there's a lot of corners here, but wait a minute. Got a straight up here? Almost. Good enough. Right, so we are in 5th gear at 50 miles an hour, going uphill. Yep, that's not too bad. Yeah, it doesn't really feel its extra weight at all, to be honest. I mean, that's quite a good pull for a relatively high gear going uphill as well. Let's slow down a bit, there's nothing behind us. Let's go down to about 30, let's go up through the gears, right. Yep. Let's say, she is good for carving through corners, but I would say that she's better for long sweeping corners. The kind of, the tighter ones do feel a bit more laborious. Again, just because she's not quite as nimble as a normal bike. But then again, this is designed as a tourer, so I guess, you know, we can't really fault her too much. Right, I'm going to have to turn around here because I do actually need to go back towards the garage now. Oh, she's so heavy. Great big lump. Yeah, I'm really torn with this bike. I do like it, as I say, but I can't necessarily see much of a point to it. And the reason for that is because while she is good once you get going, she is heavy and a bit of a pain at slower speeds. And for the class that this bike is in, the sports tourers, there are plenty of other bikes out there that are just, I hate to say it because I really wanted to like this bike, but they're just better. Even in Yamaha's own range, the Yamaha Tracer, for instance, that uses the same engine as this, if you go for the 900, I'd argue is a better bike. And more than that, it's £4,000 cheaper. You pay an extra £4,000 for the extra wheel on the front of this, and as I say, whilst you do gain that little bit of stability when you're going faster and going around long sweeping corners, you actually lose a lot of the sort of nimbleness and everything you'd expect out of a motorcycle when you're going through town. And okay, yeah, great, a touring bike spends a lot of its time on the open road, but at some point in time you're going to be going through towns and things like that, and that might get just a little bit tiring. On top of that, as I said before, I know I said we'd glaze over the fact that it's a relatively controversial bike, but I can't see this appealing to that many bikers. It's got that issue of it's not designed for people who drive cars and aren't used to motorcycles, so it's not aimed at them. The people it's aimed at are motorcyclists, and a lot of motorcyclists aren't going to like this non-traditional setup, yeah, it is a very, very strange one, I think. But yeah, no, it is a shame. I mean, I can't fault it as far as build quality. I can't fault the engine because it's the MT-09 engine. It is lovely in a lot of ways, but I just can't see it really taking off that well. I think it's probably going to stick around for a bit longer and then just be retired. Like a classic example, I don't know if any of you guys remember the Honda DN01. Like, that was a great concept at the time, but it was just a bit too futuristic looking and just a bit too different. Not enough people were interested in it for it to be maintained in the model range for a particularly long period of time, so they kind of got rid of it fairly quickly. And unfortunately, I can see this probably going down the same sort of way. But hey, there you go. That's how it goes sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy that I got the chance to test ride this. I have enjoyed it. It's been great. Because I did have a little ride out on it before I started this video, and I did enjoy it. But yeah, I don't think I'd want to buy one. You know, if someone gave this to me, if they said, there you go, have it for free, I'd go, yeah, okay, fine, I'll keep this, I'll drive it, I'll enjoy it. But I don't think I'd spend the money on it, because I don't think I've mentioned how much this actually costs yet, but the base model of this is about £13,500, and the GT model, which is the one I'm on now, is actually close to £15,000. So there's a lot of money, really. And yeah, I'll say there are plenty of other bikes out there that are a lot cheaper and in a lot of ways a lot better. So there you go, guys. I was somewhat of a more negative review than I was hoping, but hopefully you still actually enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Go check out my other videos. And yeah, I will be doing some more reviews soon of more traditional bikes. Like I said, I just wanted to take this one out just because of the experience. I wanted to experience it because it's something that's different. Yeah, hopefully the other videos will be a bit more positive. But yeah, as I say, guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you all again soon.